Thank you. Firstly, thank you very much, Satyen, for giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast.
Sure. No problems at all. And I hope that our conversation will help, to your audience, and especially those who are, new in career. They are building their career, and they need, quite a lot of advices depending on their background, their education. But you see that in cloud is where, irrespective of how much experience that you have at all sort of, it's like the helping hands, right? So it's good. And I also see that your channel and your social media, you are doing a wonderful job. It's it's amazing, where you are spreading a good word about the technology.
So before talking about that, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, my name is Satyen. Hi, everyone. I'm based in Belgium, in Brussels, for over 2 decades, 22 years or so. And um, overall, I have got, I have been actually in various technology roles, the techno commercial roles, pre-sales, and the solutioning roles. So good part of my career, which is almost 26 years plus minus. Been with that aspect, then the techno commercial aspect of the technologies. And I got opportunity to, to work and to collaborate with a lot of organizations, or the bigger organizations, or this medium sized organizations. So I worked quite a lot on, with the diverse teams, manage the teams, provided the leadership on to the aspect of the, the technology, like on the data or architecture, disaster recovery. And different roles, have at different period of time, different roles have different requirements. So been to, various roles. And currently, I work for Wipro in Europe. And what I do here is, and incidentally, I just had 3 years yesterday. So it has been a wonderful journey with Wipro. In Europe, we have, a lot of enterprise customers, and my focus is how we can bring the differentiation into the cloud. So that's what I do. And this region is quite diverse region. You have 20s of countries where we are, grouped into different geos and region, the business unit and the marketing units. And that's where me and my teams, we support, we help to the enterprises to make this bigger piece of the challenges which are now in the technology. So helping out in transformation, the digital transformation, and cloud is a key part which I focus on.
So you're a director of cloud strategy and architecture right now. Your position.
Oh, yeah, correct. So that's my role. That's my position. Where is on the cloud, is as a director of cloud strategy and the solutions. The focus is depending on, when we go to the enterprises, when we have we help them as a trusted advisor. We see the different organization have different maturity level, right? So some of the organizations, they have, they are planning to move into the cloud. So when they are planning, that's where the strategy part comes, based on the experience, that how they should plan, what is their maturity, whether they should go for cloud first or the cloud only or cloud native, or what sort of framework they should have. And that's where the strategy comes into the play. While some other organizations, they already moved into the cloud, they started facing some challenges, or they started to have a good feel of what in the cloud can be beneficial, what is not so much beneficial, according what they plan for the business case. So that's where the remaining part of the solutioning that comes. So whether they are already with some other providers, with some other enterprises or the different cloud service providers, we help them out in building the solutions. That's my role, by and large.
Great. So we'll start with the first job that you did, graduate engineer in 1997.
Yeah. So that was actually first job, but just a the quick, I think you might have seen into the social media also. In one comment actually yesterday I mentioned that my first job, and then I forgot actually. My very first job, it was when I did the graduation from India in 1996. um, so well, the very first thing, the people or the freshers now, they are more aware that what they have to do, right? Especially when it comes to the technological aspect in their career. I see that even people in the first or second year, they are going and they are building the AI models, they are building the ML models. But that time that was not the case. So we, the vision of the technology was not so explosive of what is now. So my first job is actually in that, at that time, where there was a small company which I was not aware neither. They well, it was some sort of, like, just after graduation you need to come into the market. We went there. It was a company um, where I had a good actually 6 hours. Yeah, so my job was that I started my first day at 9 a.m. and by 3 p.m. I was all done. So that was literally my first job. So, but I mean, then I, as a graduate engineer, after a month or two, I joined prestigious organization there in India as a graduate engineer trainee, where as a instrumentation engineer. So I was not in IT initially. I started with the industrial instrumentation. It was chemical and the drugs manufacturing plant there in the northern part of India. So I learned quite a lot there. Mainly on the, especially how the compute, or how the hardware part that deals with the logic, the PLCs, and in the industry how they leverage the technology, as from the eyes of the instrumentation and electrical engineer. So that was my first job, and during that job only, I got opportunity to work, actually to come into the IT side. um, and that's where the journey started in bits and pieces with the by then technologies like deep Fox Pro, and we started with it. Couple of occasions did a DR, not so much sophisticated as we say now, but that was the starting phase. Yes.
Great. And the company was JK Tire and Industries Limited, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. So they are actually the JK Industries is manufacture. They are the big one of the biggest manufacturer of the tires. They are diverse group. JK Group is quite diverse group. They are in jute. They are in the sugar, like the chemicals, like the tires, like yeah, you might know they are in multiple industries. So I work for the chemical and the pharmaceutical part, which was in the northern part, northern part of India. It's called JK Industries, and basically drugs and pharmaceutical.
Great. And next, you worked as senior system automation architect at Teva Pharmaceuticals for 2 years in
I
2000.
Yeah, that's right. That's the second, actually. If you know that Teva Pharmaceutical, they are one of the biggest, actually. I think the largest manufacturer of the generic drugs. Okay, so when and actually that was it was a merger and acquisition of the JK to Teva, right? So we all is Teva now, actually. So we came all part of Teva Pharmaceutical. They're still here with the name of Teva.
So, do you remember anything that is special in that particular role?
Okay, so for that role, yes, actually, that so what was interesting is in the pharmaceutical, uh, you know three things. The very first thing is you have to provide the automation in a very the precision must be these are highly precision machines, whether they are in the plant, like we are building the bulk drugs. There are chemical processes which are highly dependent on certain process parameters. Okay, like for example, I tell you, there was a new antibiotic that they introduced when at that time, in India. It was the first ever made antibiotic in 90s, 97 or 98. So the it was such sensitive process, that at one point of time there's a gap of few minutes. And what they do is, the when the transition happens to conversion A to conversion B in a very short period of time, there were the process of pH. Okay, so just imagine that you have a large reactors, very large reactors with thousands of liters and the kilos of chemicals, and you have to control the pH for few minutes. So based on how pH would be, suddenly there would be influx of the acids or the different other chemicals. And this was such high investment project that if during those 3 minutes or 4 minutes, if there's a something happens, then the whole lot is gone. It's pooble, it's dustbin. So it was a big investment. However, when you support such of excuse me, when you support such highly critical process, highly critical instrumentation, or IT for that matter, um, you gain the experience. And also during this phase you understand what are the, suppose something happens, then what would you do, what is your backup plan, right? If something happens, then what you should do, what's the right communication, to whom you should call, whom you should plan, what better that you can do, so if disaster happen, then you can support it, so that the criticality remains, we are green, or at least we should be able to drag it green. So learn, in such roles, and fortunately, that helped a lot in the later part of the career. You understand the criticality, you know the SLAs, you know the systems must be available, you know that if something happens, then what should be the plan B, right? So yeah, that was very good for me actually in the initial part of career.
Great. And you worked as IT systems executive at Honda Motors Co. Limited for 1 year in 2000 to 2001.
Right. So this was actually the next assignment, and which is, the Honda Motors. You know that they're manufacturer of the all the automobiles, the cars, and the scooters and motorcycles. So they set up a new plant when they ventured in India. So that plant, it was actually not far from Delhi, very big plant, um, and they conceptualized, and you know in a year or year and a half, to make the motorcycle and scooters in India. So from the day one or the initial days of that project, I was part of the IT there. I supported the IT during the project phase, and later, when the factory was set up in a place called Manesar, you might know that, right? Because I see that now in Honda Activa, and there are a lot of models in India. So you can think of, I was from day one on that scooters project. So that very successful, again, on the experience perspective, and the project, how this setting of the multiple things, architecting it, be it the network or the multiple aspect of IT there, right? So it was indeed a good experience at Honda.
I have a Honda Activa.
All right. Yeah. So by the time actually I left, it was not in the market, because still it was in the initial phase of the pilot manufacturing. So, but yes, I learned when I was in US, and I learned that yes, Honda Activa is there now, and I have got a lot of good colleagues. So it's still we are in touch, and I remember those days when actually there were, I think, two or three models, Honda Activa, and I don't remember exactly now, but Honda Activa has been the most successful, I believe, model in market, right? So yeah, they I mean, the way, especially the Japanese, you work with the Japanese organization, and they are very much planned. Yeah, so that planning part, how to be organized, you can learn with the Japanese, and of course the hard worker, they are very hardworking. So we learned, the Kaizen, for example, how to do the improvements in the process. So they use processes in Kaizen. So I got exposure of those frameworks also at that time, which was, fortunately, it was good for me, because in later part, in one of my assignment, that I was Six Sigma, and when I link the Kaizen way of the production and the Six Sigma, I could see that how you have so many components, thousands of the components. You are building a automobile, you are building a vehicle, and then how the delivery, how the supply chain and the logistics must be what it should be. So very good experience indeed. And fortunately, since that was also initial period, and when you work with such wonderful environment, you learn a lot, and you when you do the hard work, you learn a lot that pays at the later part of the career, right?
Great. And you worked in Yahoo as an enterprise solution architect for 3 months in 2001.
Yeah. So after that, when like in most of the ITs, right, where you work or you collaborate with a lot of companies and the different roles. So after that, I have been into so many different organizations, and Yahoo was one. Where I provided the support. There were so many. I believe starting from that period until now, probably directly or indirectly, I have been in 80, 90 plus different architectures, different target models, and the operating models. So Yahoo was one. Yeah,
And you worked as enterprise architect at GE. It is a contract for
yeah,
1 year from
correct. So
2001 to 2002.
yeah, so that's right. So as I said that after basically in the IT there were multiple different assignments, lot of assignments like in GE or Yahoo or some lesser companies. So quite many companies after that, and since 2000 2001 or 2002. So I when I joined Cummins Diesel Company in EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, in Belgium, and then I supported the internal business units of Cummins. So initially the filtration business unit, right, where I was as a EMEA leader, and as part of that job, Cummins is in the automobiles and the supply chain, the whole supply chain thing. So yeah, you have to work with their suppliers, right? So you have the systems which are integrated with many other, I won't give you the number, but many other systems where we have the right integration business wise. So those integrations where you also not only just need to take care of your business unit, your corporate, but also the architectures which are in your ecosystem. So that's being in a very distributed environment. um, it's The roles were like I have been into the DR roles, in the data services role, um, where you have to see the plan for the uh, everything related to the data, whether it's the all sort of data, right? Either is the metadata, master data, or the databases into the various technologies, making the architecture, making the instance strategy, right? Particular in the as per the reference architecture, the vendors they support in those particular technologies, you have to make the cadence with them so that their innovation comes to our organization. We take benefit of newer features which can help reducing the cost of our products. That's also part of the responsibility, when you do the leadership. It's not just the technical but also getting the right contract set. So in the ecosystem, that as a company, you have your internal IT team, your in-house leaders and the managers and the IT staff. Then these are leveraging the technologies. They're in-house reference architecture. You have certain what is the white label, and certain things are which are black labeled. So the white label thing, how you can leverage more, right? So you have to do the cadence with the direct vendors, with the third party vendors, and work with them as partners, um, um, to have a view on the IT goals for the company, under the right budget, under the right, or your project must be on time, right? So that's what the fun part of this, and another thing is also very important in these roles are, quite often that you have to sell the solution, right? Sometimes internally and sometimes to the suppliers, sometimes to the partners, right? By selling, I mean, let's say, um, you have, just an example, I don't quote it, but let's say you have Oracle. So the whole organization is working on certain versions, certain the key base versions in Oracle. When in Oracle they change something, okay, they say, let's have a new way of how you replicate the data. Let's have the new system called Golden Gate, right? So with this new, you will see that what are the why should you adopt Golden Gate or the new application when your things are always running, correct? Because we are not an IT company, as a product company or the engineering company. This We would think, we are not a IT company. Why should we go and make the changes if everything is running fine? So at that point of time, you have to see the pluses and the minuses of the new things, and bring it to the internal and external suppliers or external partners, that hey, this is what I think is the best way, and it will save you this much of investment, and the capital, and there's a benefit in the pricing, there's a benefit in the security, or maybe your performance, the system performance is better. Maybe you will have the system which would be, you can consolidate to a single instance. You can consolidate, your 20s of the system into the one system, and utilize these replications, and save some license cost, right? So that was actually part of this role, a very interesting part of this role. And in Cummins only, then from one BU to another BUs, that also had quite many internal transfers also into the various roles. So sometimes in the DR role, sometimes, led the architecture, for the EMEA, for the Europe. Later part become the part of the corporate also. Then there were internal reorganizations, in a certain way, became the part of those changes also, right? So quite a interesting journey, and in all, that was 16 or 17 years actually, right? And then I joined Wipro in 2019, and you know the story after I joined, right? So and what else? Yeah, cloud. So when actually, and that's also interesting, that how we realize the cloud is important to the business. So and it's very, and that was, for me personally, coming to the cloud was just an coincidence, right? And like, for example, now the people plan that they will move to the cloud, but that this phase has come after so many years, correct? Because uh, every 5 or 6 years I have seen that centralization, a wave of the centralization and wave of the decentralization, that happened. So in this, earlier the operating model of the companies or the bigger organizations were, where if you are operating into 50 countries, you would divide, let's say, into the 10 key countries, that all your systems are going to be in these 10 countries. That means you will have all sort of the different servers, all sort of different self sufficiency of the systems. Your, the the system would be limited to the that particular country. For example, Belgium, there was a data center in Belgium. There was another data center in France near the factory. There was another there were actually two or three in UK. There were so many in Americas. There were in Singapore. There were in India. So many data centers. We had. And I'm talking into, for example, for Cummins. So uh, then how you would consolidate, because you have the same systems into the multiple places, and that's not good for the return of investment, ROI, and total cost of ownership. um, okay, so um, the very first initiative, and we had a lot of initiative. One thing is, what we were doing at that time is, from we had, the Belgium, France, and the UK system. We were trying to integrate with our some logistics partners. Okay, and the plan was that as soon as you have certain process clicked in one of those systems, it will automatically go to our transport partners, and they will have, picking, shipping, printing, and shipping all the products, and which were high valued products, right? um, so we came to certain technologies. We were successful. However, there were a period of maturity, when new things, they were adopted, and there were a lot of challenges also. It was highly sensitive system, and during that time, I come to know about service called SQS by an intern in my team, who told me that, why don't there is a company in America, why don't we see and look, because we don't need to buy our own servers, they will get the servers. So I asked him, what is the name of the company? Amazon. So that was the first encounter with Amazon that I had with this service. SQS. It was, one Amazon service. So, and that was in 2006. Very much, interested, and learned about it. We did some little or a smaller or the medium sized transformation initially, like in the few databases we moved to RDS. We have some storage, we leverage, so that's how the cloud came into the organization naturally. And for me also in my career, having, with the cloud since 2006 2007 or that time, that played a big role, how I see the cloud now. Yeah.
So, you worked in different organizations in your life
Yeah,
and in different roles.
correct.
And actually, there are some other roles that I want to ask that you did.
Hmm.
Uh, and at I get Global Solutions in Belgium, 2 years, 8 months in 2005, Enterprise Systems Architect. How was
Right.
that?
Right. So this one, when I came to Belgium, I, for the same enterprise, from iGate, I was an employee, initially for some time with the iGate system, and was supporting the architecture of the company which I joined later. Yeah. So yeah, that was when I was talking about Cummins, I covered about it. Just that change the change the employer, as Cummins wanted to to have me for part of their planning. So which we agreed actually, and then we did. On the planning and strategy perspective, we set up the instance strategies, the global instance strategies, the architecture, the system architecture, the enterprise architecture. As far as the Europe is concerned, Europe and Africa and Middle East, we do from Belgium, right? Yeah, so that was that time, right?
And you also worked in Japan as an enterprise architect at GE for 1 year, 2001 to 2002.
Mm. Yeah, for that was in time actually. There was a project, yes, and also with Honda. Honda is Japanese company, right? So
Yeah, I got you. And you worked for 12 years, 5 months in Cummins Incorporation in
yeah,
different roles:
yeah,
enterprise, cloud, and data leader.
absolutely, yes, yeah. So that the experience that I also mentioned to you, right? Part of Cummins, there have been many lateral roles where I contributed to the journey, the cloud journey for Cummins. Yep.
And you worked as enterprise system architect at Fleet Guard for 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That the fleet guard is the filtration. In like the diesel engine manufacturing. Okay, in the automobile, there are different part of the businesses. So fleet guard is the business of Cummins, which focus on the what you see, the filtration in the industries, all the filters, the fuel filters. There were so many different filtration in the automobile, so they focus on that, and I was part of that BU. Yes. Yeah.
Great. And right now, you are a director and cloud strategist and strategy and architecture. So you're into this role for from 3 years, 1 month in Wipro.
Yeah, absolutely. So I joined in 2019. Yeah. And actually yesterday only that I had 3 years. So I'm 3 years in Wipro.
So I can see you also uh, contributed to the knowledge to a lot of newcomers and new people.
Yeah, this is actually very interesting part, because as I see that as I told my story, how I see the cloud, how I get into the cloud. I see a lot of actually lot of talent. The very first is there's a high gap in the talent and then the demand and the supply currently. So when our habits change, all the organization, all the big businesses, they went through a bigger change in last few years. So to cope up with those changes, the technology filled in, right? The way you do everything in the click. We don't have a patience now. When we go for shopping, we just need to have the same day delivery, the next day delivery. So well, as the and as from the eyes of the business, they need the capability so that they can cater to the whole their customer base, what they are expecting. So if customer is expecting the same day delivery, they have to change their systems, they have to modify the business capabilities, right? So the habits drove the business capability to change their systems, and that's where the technology come. And the technology which could cater these business capabilities, the cloud is one of that, the key technology where everything is hosted there, or is planned to host it there. When such a tsunami of the demand is there, and the market, or the number of institutions, or the number of graduates, or number of talents, actually the talent pool, we have huge gap. So to that, and also, while on the other side, I am contacted every day by a lot of many people, that hey, how I should come into the cloud. I want to build my career. What is the best way to build the career, so that 3 years or 5 years from now, I would be in comfortable position. So cloud, of course, I mentor people on the cloud to come into the to listen their questions on and off, and to advise as much as my time allows me to help them. So I'm fond of, and actually very passionate about building the community, building the or providing the right guidance to those who are in need, who need. And especially the women in IT, for example, it's one of the big challenge the whole IT is having now. At all the levels, the representation of the girls and the women is very little. So that's a big initiative that the companies need to do. And I see that the Microsoft, Google, and all the bigger companies, Wipro, we are focusing a lot. We have, our parameters, that how we bring more diversification in our employees, right? So that's one key part that I also focus. The second is, as I told, that to guide into their career, and to provide them the advice, what they should do, what they should not do. Quite often, maybe just 5 minute help, that helps people in getting the right direction. Right, so that's what I have been into, actually, with the community part, with so many students, maybe thousands of students, or those who have less experience, guiding them, providing them the mentorship. And quite often, if I ask them, hey, why don't you do the certification? And I see that, and I find that if I can help them in actually in certifying, and even I have a small target, just a small contribution, which I am you know try to provide them some kind of a financial things in the vouchers, just on my personal level. It's not such a scaled, it's just in whatever scale that I do through the community, right? So that's yes, this is what I do. Yeah.
And you're a technology advisor for many Fortune 100 enterprises.
Mm. Right. So that's right. So they are our enterprise customers as a part of my current job. Also, that to be to be an advisor, the technology trusted advisor for the companies who are going for the larger transformation. They are changing their business processes, to provide them the right guidance, right framework, and and help them. Yeah. So yes, that's the key part of the role.
And you did 12 AWS certificates.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So I started the I did all the certification in AWS. I think they have there are a couple of more added. There's one ex retired also. But yes, to the technology aspect, to see the things which are happening in cloud. I keep myself updated on the multi cloud perspective, whether it's AWS and Azure or Google Cloud or private cloud or some open sources. So I try to keep myself open for the newer opportunities what market provides.
So it's a combination of all the clouds, Azure, GCP, IBM, AWS.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what's happening here is, that let's say the cloud started with Amazon Web Services (AWS) initially. So they were the first commercial public cloud, right? So the model, the cloud models or the frameworks, AWS has certain model framework, and later the other vendors also in the same public cloud consumption based model they bring to the table, to the customers. So now you have got a lot of let's say three or four different cloud service providers. As a enterprise, as a organization, which one you should have? You should go put all your system to Amazon if you want to go to cloud first, or to Azure, to GCP. And what should be done and what should not be done, correct? So this is all is like hybrid is you have cloud 1, cloud 2, cloud 3 plus your non cloud things also. Okay, so it's like mixture. The mixture approach or the hybrid approach, many companies they had this part of and this is as part of their strategy, this hybrid strategy. So your role as advisor, your role is that, just think about, if you have same kind of products into the different three different variety of products, then you have to do the same operations, same services you have to provide to all the three. That means if you want to see how is your system's performance, you will have to go to one place. Then for second cloud, how your systems are performing, you have to go to the different place. Then third, so this multi cloud scenario is where the you make the things or the life of the company easier by having the right approach, that even if you have gone to the multi cloud, what's the right way so that you have the for example the observability at a single place. Observability is irrespective of what is in the background, you observe in the single screen. How is my performance, how is my SLA, how is my ID systems, what are the greens and the yellows in your dashboard. In the single pane of glass you see the complete enterprise. That again goes same for the security. So cloud 1, their security pattern is different for cloud 2, for cloud 3, right? So as having the business systems, you need to control the security at a single at a higher level, that we have this security rule and everybody must follow it, every system must follow it, right? And so so you have got performance observability, how your system is behaving. You have security, you are ensured that your systems are fully secure when it comes to either compute or storage or data. Everything must be secured. The kind of if uh, I mean, security is a large topic where you do some things proactively. You do the setup, you do the encryption, everything to put the lock on your data, right? Like in our houses, we put the lock, but even then the threats and the stealing happens. In the same way, how you should ensure the proactive and the reactive security is taken care of. If something happens, then what is the right procedure, what's the right framework? Okay, so this is that's also a, part of the multi-cloud solutioning. Then then on top of this, the companies are run by CEOs, and what one of the key value proposition is the value one of the key value of an organization is how is their stockholders, how is the value of the company that you are providing to those community, right? So finances. So finance or the FinOps is again the very important part in the multi-cloud. How much you should provision, what type of systems that you should provision. You're doing for example, the auto scaling. um, did you do the right setup so that there is no shock by your configuration, right? And then the last piece is automation. So automation is doing the repetitive things in a automated fashion, right? So that's the whole, actually the complete story. And when you do with one provider, it is much simpler. When you do with two or three providers, then you need to have additional systems. You need to have additional people and the processes and the governance that needs to be taken care as a part of future operating model. Yeah.
I got you. And you're into 25 years of and advising global organizations and operating models.
Okay. Sorry, my speaker just went crazy. So, what did you ask, Sai?
I said you're into from 25 years leading and advising global organizations and operating models.
Right, and this was actually the same thing which I was discussing with you. Uh, so the operating model is the changes that the companies they do. So when you have the cloud, or let's say you have one technology, your IT or your the enterprise IT is in a certain way, they do the governance in a certain way, they implement their systems, right? There are some process for any change happening, right, on onto the systems. There are the change management process, and those change management process takes care of the part of the systems changes. However, when a big change happens, then it comes into the cultural changes also. That's why the cloud is challenging to many organizations, because if you think the cloud transformation is just one project, then you are wrong. Correct. So this is what the game is, actually it's a game changer. So according to your needs, you have to modify, you have to change your operating model. Now which particular thing in your operating model that you will change is a matter of discovering into what you have. So the very first is how you are actually doing your business now, how you are doing your IT setups now. What are your business capabilities? What are your IT capabilities? how is your talent position in the market? If you are doing the change, do you have those talent as part of in-house team or as in the vendor, right? And what should be those talent also? So this is a part of a larger strategy, and it adds many frameworks when you build the cloud, for example, the digital strategy. So there are quite many pieces, and but we need to ensure that all the um, planning related to the people, the talent, all the planning related to how the talent is managed by certain processes or the governance, and then how you how the organization handles the technology part, the technology change. So technology is one part, but it's not just the only part. When these new change happens in the organization, so that's one piece. The another piece is how you work, the way of working, right? So like yesterday, when there was in the legacy world, you have a requirement for a server. What you do is you will go to your purchase department, you'll find an indent, and after you will get receive the quotation, and then the procurement will come in. There is some lead time, and probably in a couple of months or you will get your server. But now you're getting in few minutes. So accordingly, how you tune your this procurement, the indent, and these processes, so is everything must be fast. This is the way of working. So now everything must be fast and automatic. In the similar fashion, when you develop a certain program in the software engineering, you do the coding. You have 25 coders, you have multiple coders, they are on the different modules, they are coding. Suppose I'm working on certain module which is highly dependent, so everybody else is just waiting for me to finish, right? That was in the earlier time. Now is you do the thing, you do your module, there are automation process, there are systems, so the DevOps, and many systems. You do your work, you commit it, and automatically that will be taken care by the system setup. And that's how, for example, I don't know, there have been in the Amazon.com website, there are 2 millions plus changes each year. That means every second they are making the changes many times. So with this scale, um, um, how you bring your organization to the right DevOps practices, right automation. That's this is important, and the part of a larger IT strategy. So one is in the IT, right, for any big companies, you have multiple sort of way of working, or multiple um, larger goal tree with the individual type of systems. For example, if I have uh, data center, then my data center strategy will be one. Okay, and what can be there? It can be, for example, I have 10 data center. My strategy is okay, just put into the two. Okay, so this is one thing happening. The second thing is maybe IT system, maybe IT finance system. They want to modernize. They are replacing one system with other. This will be large part of IT finance system as strategy. So all these different segments are there, and in on top of that, you have to build your cloud inception in the organization so that it doesn't work in the isolation. It is part of, it touches everything, but you should know when you plan it. So that becomes actually very important when you do um, such big changes, that what are the other related dependent environments are doing, how are their plans, how are their long term goals, what is their you know major milestones. And then together with them, with all the the related stakeholders, you sit with them, you do the brainstorming, then everybody modifies their approach to adapt one bigger piece of um, you call the major high level goal, the IT goal.
Great. And building and enabling the business-led cloud transformation and execution.
Yeah. So what is business led cloud transformation? The business led cloud transformation is the businesses, whether it is the manufacturing, whether it is the banking, the insurance, the healthcare, these are all the businesses. They are not their work is not actually IT, their work is not cloud, they are using the cloud, correct? So if there are changes happening, so the first thing is, when you go to those industries, you say you want this change. Why you want this change? Because it is by business, it will help my business. So this is business led. If there are initiatives which are done from the business, then it comes on to making the changes. So that means there are two views. First is, if I say, hey, I have something, wonderful thing, is it will change everything, cloud, do it. I don't know what is business, how that will help me, right? That's the approach one. The second thing is, the business should approach, it will help me, this is, if these are my pain points. If I have, this thing, and if cloud can provide, I'm good with the cloud. So this is the business led cloud transformation. The business, the transformation or the changes is started by the business, right? And that's the best approach for getting success into the cloud.
I got you. And you mentored over 50,000 of cloud experts in their career, and you worked with the universities and colleges in Belgium and India for providing guidance to the students.
Right. So that's also part of a community work, right? Getting connected with the academia, getting connected with the communities, and those who are in need. As I told you that, either they are a student community, or they are women in IT, or enabling the people, or guiding the people to build their career into the opportunities which cloud is providing. So that's the community work. And not just on the career perspective, but also, if if you motivate somebody to make some, take some steps, if you have to guide also sometimes, right? That, hey, just that, don't just make his mind, but also show them, okay, do this thing, go into one of the five clouds, for example, and go step by step, right? And how going into the step will help you is also the shared responsibility, and to give the right guidance. Yeah.
Great. And Academia Association to empower the underprivileged and girls' education.
Right. And this is also, um, um, like the previous initiative or previous thing, point that I mentioned is, uh, to work with the colleges, to work with the universities, with the alumni, with the student community there. Have some webinars, have some, and so this is yes part of quite whenever whatever the time that I get, I try to be associated with such things. Yeah.
And you have 50,000 followers on social
Mhm.
media,
Right, right, right.
and
Yeah.
your monthly views are over 3 to 4 million.
Oh yeah, quite a lot. Quite a lot. Quite a lot. I'm not in the in number game, but when I see sometime graph coming up, popping up, so I see, oh, it's quite a lot. Like mostly I was in LinkedIn, and I see when I go now, this is again challenge. I go to the LinkedIn screen and I see all the the red boxes like messages, because I cannot go check all the messages there, and there are some 29,000 pending invites that I see, 28 or 29,000 pending invites. So and what happens that sometimes people don't feel very good, if they send to the invite, and if you don't respond, my problem is I cannot respond, right? Because there is certain limits that is imposed by the platform, and there is no way I can accept all the, even I click on, I want to accept, I want to connect with everyone, but I cannot, because of the platform limitation, right? But what I do is, whoever follows me, I try that, I follow back, so that if they want to give some messages, I can have. Or even recently I started with Twitter also, and I see that in Twitter, I had the account, but in January, then I was a bit active with almost, I just had actually 7 or 800 folks there, but I see now quite significant, I think 6,000 something. So that's also a good platform, right?
And you have a blog. What
Yeah.
you write in it?
Yeah. My blog is on Medium. So I have redirected my website, which is satyankumar.com, and that automatically goes to refer that to satyankumar.medium.com. So it will, you want to see my blog, just see and comment, and even I run a small publication also on Medium. If someone of you want to be part of that, you write a story and submit it to the publication. It's called Towards Cloud Computing on Medium.
And key competence is thought leader on cloud and quantum computing.
Right. So cloud, I already told about is, quantum is actually, that's also interesting, and thanks that you put this thing. So quantum is for almost for a year and a half or something around 2 years. Uh, it started, be it how what are the different companies, what they are approaching, how the evolution of quantum is happening. So I picked one of the quantum, which is IBM quantum computing. It's called QSKIT. So I picked that, and I can't say I'm expert, but I can understand how the things going into the quantum also. And fortunately, it's like cloud that I saw in 2006. Probably that's also the quantum now as the next step.
And expertise transformation and E2E TCO FinOps strategy.
Hmm. Oh, that's very important. End to end, providing the end to end. pricing, not the pricing, but end-to-end visibility of your environment, be it the pricing, be it total cost of ownership. You have thousands of server and or different components, and what should be the ideal situation, correct? Whether your infra is up all the time, whether the things which you could shut it down partly and save your TCO, whether all the best practices you are following. So if the as a company, if you don't follow the best practices, that means you are compromising on something, either on the price or security or something. So that observability is to a larger bigger framework. It's important that you observe, you control, and then you keep auditing it. Yeah, so that nothing is out of the sight, which should be uh, it should be proactive, not the reactive. When something happened, you got some hefty price, and then you say, hey, what happened? So this is the reactive approach. But the proactive is before it happens. Okay, or let it put this way: accident happen because we let them happen, right? So build the system so that even some accident happen, it should not happen. Build the right guardrails, build the right process, have the right people so that they can build the right processes, right?
Building and managing the Cloud Center of Excellence, CCOE.
Yeah, CCOE. What is CCOE is, um, when the companies don't have their specific setup um, to move into the cloud. There are different ways. The cloud adoption framework, the AWS or Azure or Google, they have a cloud adoption framework. So one of the recommendation, it's not a mandatory thing, but it's a recommendation, is, hey, make a team who just focus on the cloud. Make a team who is focused on the linking the cloud people with the other set of business people. uh, so this all setup of the cloud in the people aspect, the process aspect or the governance aspect, and the technology aspect is a responsibility of cloud center of excellence. Okay, and they build the way of how the cloud will be in the organization, and then it will go to the operations. When in the execution, that will go to the operations team. So it requires the industry cases. It requires the best practices, and we provide assistance, and I help them in actually in such CCUE building.
Great. And AWS, well designed and modern architecture, DevOps and hyper automation.
Yeah. So, like automation, I think we have covered this part, the DevOps part, where I mentioned that in the companies, uh, the developers and do the coding, developers make the programs run to form the business applications. The best practices which developers do and make it into the agile in the speedy way is by setting up right systems. So these right systems is to on the development side and the operations side. So there is a way the DevOps best practices, where the better collaboration and the communication between the developer and the operation community is the approach is DevOps approach. So DevOps approach, when in the DevOps approach, automation is one of the key pillar for the success, right? So that's automation first approach. Do the automation um, for um, for the right release management, for the right the testing, for putting into the production, for provisioning, the complete DevOps cycle. Yeah.
So what cloud is going to be in future?
Well, the way we see it is all at least these five top companies are very well positioned in the market. AWS is, would say, the king. Microsoft Azure is, yeah, they have very large ecosystem with a lot of, I mean, growth wise, it is growing very fast, and same for Google also. So every cloud has certain key differentiation, but overall, any of these 4 5 clouds, they can cater to any sort of workloads that are possible now. So at least for these five vendors, I don't see any threat, and they will continue to actually grow. Yeah. So future is the the hybrid cloud, right?
I can see some of these companies are putting data centers under the ocean.
Yeah, yeah, that's Microsoft has it. AWS might. I don't know at this point of. I mean, I just don't remember that if I have seen, but definitely there. Where is the data center? Actually, they don't tell. Especially AWS, we don't know what's the address of that data center. But I'm sure there must be some something set up for them also undersea, like you see Google, they have undersea cabling, that's the backbone of the internet. So there are different, um, and data center in a box, for example, is an approach which is suitable for the places, the geo regions which are not reachable or the suitable. So there are data center in the boxes, connected by the most modern technologies based on the satellite or a different way of um, getting the network packet transmissions, right? So yes, this is also one thing. And also IoT, for example, the edge devices, the edge computing, that's also promising for the future. It has a lot of promises, it has a lot of advantages that will make the systems closer to you, right? It's like you have your data center near to you.
So yesterday I interviewed a guy who is a television engineer, uh, and who is into that for 42 years, and uh, and also who worked in space exploration company called NASA for 13 years. And I asked him a question yesterday as a tech guy. I said, "Are we going? We as a human beings, are we going to put data centers in the space?"
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, just uh, I mean, to the deeper level, well, I don't have what sort of things they are planning, but just on the media that I see that yes, they, especially the Tesla owner, Elon Musk, he's planning something. Last week I got to know about AWS. They are also planning something into the space, and we should not be surprised. This is gonna happen actually. Yeah.
So At last, what do you say about what is your observation about my work?
Yeah, your work is actually very fascinating one. You are doing a very good service, I would say. Is the service where you are connected with the community. Okay, this is simply brilliant because you are devoting your time for the people actually to guide them, right? That's what you are doing is uh, those those folks who don't have in terms of the guidance, they don't and there are so many people, they have the questions and simply questions, but there's nobody to answer. So that the channels like you have, you put the content, you have the social media, and many of your followers, they can follow you, they can um, get the questions answered. And this is the way, I say that it's a good service to them. So keep this work doing. It is nice to know you, nice to talk to you today, and looking forward for many more collaborations.
So I did masters in software engineering and I did bachelor's in computer science and engineering. I'm from South India, Hyderabad city. So, so how this collection of experts like you who are already in the industry, in the IT industry, in the cloud computing industry from long time, me collecting information, me interacting with the experts like you who already know how things works, and getting this information is putting in my mind if I'm going to work in a position in coming days in IT or in cloud, how this collection of information or talking with different country people who are into different positions and who are into different age groups and who are into different backgrounds and also who are into different professions. I interviewed the people from film industry, authors. I'm a tech guy, but that's not my profession. But I'm trying to understand the way they are thinking. So how this collection of information is going to helpful for me in future.
Yeah, two things. The very first thing is actually you're talking to the different industry, you're talking to the different people. That shows you are with the open mind. It's the and which is actually very good. So when we okay, so let me put this way. Um, I know everything. If I think this, I know everything. That means I close my door. The more you know, the more you learn, and then the more you know that you don't know. Okay, so we talk to the we are open for learning, and when we learn, we know, hey, there are so many things which are happening which could happen, and we are not we don't know anything, right? So that's the way it is. So when you are open, you know you are open for the ideas, and you get sometimes the idea which will help you in making your career self. So I think it is good for you personally. I think it is good for you professionally also, to keep connected with the right people, keep connected with the different set of diverse industry leaders, and not just the industry leaders, but also with the other student communities and the alumni, or those who are looking to change their career. They're building their career. So you are the good connection. The people like you, as I say, is providing a good service. Yeah, so keep that. Don't stop. Just of course, it should not be overdone, so that you don't turn out to be um, just talking with the people, but talk with the people, build your ideas, and build your utilizes and leverage it for your career. I think that's the best approach.
So as a cloud expert, what do you say to the people who are into the cloud already and who wants to come into the cloud? uh, who are in the intermediate level of the cloud?
Yeah, so there are multiple, different sort of experience that people have when they want to move into the different. Let's say if I am, there are people who have 2 or 3 years already in the cloud into, let's say, the administration or one part of the thing, and they feel that hey, they don't see what they are doing now is they will continue to do the whole life. Then what is the right opportunity, what is the right way to move into the right up in the ladder? So that's one question. Quite frequently I get the question. The second sort of question is, which is more often, is I don't know about this thing, this cloud, how should I go? And the third is that comes from the people who are already tens of years in the industry, but they are non-technical, they are not in technical, they are not in even on the user side of cloud, they don't know anything. They have been doing some sort of people management, or they are doing some other theme of the function. So they want to come. So for these 3 or 4 different categories, the path or the learning path is slightly different. Okay. And not just the learning path, but also one should take the time, to the point that he or she should start to know about the foundation. So rather than just go and mug up and do the certification, that will not help. What will help is, if there is, for example, the non tech or the other function manager, he want to come into the cloud. So he should think that what he can do. Okay. So if he can do, for example, the architect, the cloud architecture, so he should start learning. He should, there is a time, um, um, let's say few months or a year, that they should try learning, do some courses, do some practices, and start, make ready for uh, learning and do the things, right? So this is the whole career planning that that depends on person to person, and but ultimately they have to select one learning path, right?
And can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
And also, can I also put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, sure.
So I'll share your social links and web links in the description of this video on YouTube. People who finds our video on YouTube can see the work
Okay,
that you are doing and the contribution that you are doing to the industry and to your organization or to all around the world.
okay, perfect. No problems.
Thank you, Satyan, for your valuable time and keep going, keep inspiring people and keep, uh, uh, be the reason for people's growth.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for time.
Yeah,
All right, thank you. See you.
yeah.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.